Going on YouTube, Three Sons RC coming at you with another bench video, and you see that red thing right there? You know what that is. That's the Arrma Outcast 8S, baby. That thing is a beast. Look at that red paint job. Awesome job, Arrma. This thing is so awesome. Just a nice piece of workmanship. And we're over at M2C Racing here with Mitch Looper, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of install videos. This one is about this puppy right here. Check it out, guys. We got the M2C official Outcast chassis for the 8S Outcast. This puppy's all 70-75 ready to go. You guys asked for it. This is stock for stock. And this is going to be a full install video. So like, comment, subscribe if you want to check this stuff out. Appreciate you guys. But let me go over a couple things real quick before we get going. Don't want to waste time waffling, but as you can see, 70-75, you know, left off a couple screws here, but wanted to mention, Mitch mentioned this, is that this is the 9mm block on the top, the stiffener plate. You can actually remove some of these screws, maybe one here and one here, or maybe one there and one there, to add a little bit more flex. So instead of going to the 6mm, which you used to do, you can just use the 9mm. As long as you have 2 of the 3 screws in here, you're fine, and that'll add a little bit of flexibility if you're looking to do that, right? Okay, so there's 1mm of depth for the countersinking on there. So when you scrape your chassis, you're less likely to mess up the screw heads there. So this is just a beautiful, beautiful chassis. So we're gonna install this. Let's get going. This is gonna take some time, so grab your coffee. Let's do this, baby. Okay, so we're going to be installing this front hinge pin kit from M2C Racing. Now, what we've done is we've removed the front apparatus from the truck. It's literally 4 screws on the bottom. I think there's 2 more for the bumper. So maybe max 6 screws, and the whole front end will pull right off the truck. This part over an M2C Racing site is $32.85 for the front. Now, just to be clear, we have the A block, the B block, and in the rear you'll have the C block and then the D block.
I'm recording right now. It's all going fast forward anyway.
This is the C, this is the D block. It's going to be installed like this on the truck. This is the rear of the chassis. It's got a little notch right here. That's going to go that way. And this one's going to go on like that. And you can see, just like with the front of the truck, we have the whole rear of the truck taken off in one big chunk. Just a couple screws from the bottom. Got the famous hands of Mitch Looper here. All right. Yeah, yo. Install this motor mount Now this is obviously still 70-75, and it also comes with this bracket. Actually, separately is this bracket piece for the support brace, right? I've already installed some of this. We lost some of the footage, so I'm kind of recapping here. The part on the Mitch's website is the 3250, right? And this is just such a great piece of kit. But let me mention something real quick before we install it. You can see that this screw that's included with it is for a reason. You can see how the length comes right to the slide. If you use a longer screw or what's included in your Arrma kit, it'll be too long and it'll stop the slide. And I've already installed this bracket. This is part number 3215 on the website. And you want to make sure to use some blue Loctite on these 3 screws that I've already installed here. And then also I've gone forward and taken the original mount off. Now, one thing I want to mention that on the Outcast, Arrma has moved over to flathead screws, right? Mitch is expecting, in the past, he's expected when you get the 8S trucks that you use your own screws. Well, now that they moved over to flathead, now you don't have the right screws. So moving forward, Mitch is going to include the right screws that match up with his kit, because you can see that he's got these button head type screws that need to go into his sliding motor mounts. All right, I got this Loctited on here, matched up for the set screw. Got these 3 screws out. Leave that one in because you don't need it. Pulls out. M2C goes on. Bam. Look at that. The mesh set, little tick-tock action there. Hear that? Hopefully you can. 2 in the top, 1 in the bottom, blue Loctite. Ready to go. So I'm excited to see this puppy in here. Now let me show you what I'm going to be unscrewing to get this out. We're going to take these 3 top screws out. We're going to unscrew the front hinge pins up here in the front, and we're going to try to leave those in there. This piece will come out. Then we're going to do these guys right here, and then it should fully come out. Now, keep in mind, we've taken this off the truck. You clearly can't do this while this is on the truck.
See them little washers right there?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to be careful not to lose them little boys.
You hear that? Mitch said, be careful not to lose those little boys, because they're important. Stock bushings down here. With Mitch's kit, you don't need those, so slide those off when you take the whole piece off. And Mitch said it'd be a good idea to just kind of throw some grease, Vaseline, or any kind of lubricant down there. And I apologize for the guys drilling some stuff in the background over at M2C Racing. We're getting some work done over here. So we just got just a little bit. It's not really required to do this, but why would it hurt to just lube that up a little bit? It's definitely not gonna hurt. But just slide this puppy on. You can see now when you have this thing to put together in the kit, this is how it's going to look. The number side are going to be facing up, the part number 3268, and it's going to slide right here.
And the blocks are actually marked passenger and driver.
Okay.
So you won't get them confused.
Well, there we go. Mitch breaking it down for you. So we had this partially assembled, so we don't need to worry about that. But slide that down, then we're going to grab these 2 washers. put it back together, the reverse of what we took it apart, and we're gonna cap it off with this on the top. And I love the guys drilling immediately when I start talking. That's awesome. Put back together and just look how smooth this is, guys. This is a nice piece of workmanship right here. This craftsmanship behind what Mitch did here over at M2C Racing is nice. I mean, just so smooth. When putting this back together though, I just want to point out, this is threaded by Mitch, threaded through this hole, and then also Arrma, this is different. This ball link right here is threaded also. So what you need to do is, as soon as you get through the screw to the end here, you gotta make sure to grab on the other side this bolt. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bolt you gotta grab onto. Make sure you hold that steady so that right when you have this puppy right up against, flush up against the back side of the steering rack, the screw goes right threaded through this, and then right threaded through the actual round bolt right there, or else you'll have a gap and it won't create play, but it won't be in there as well as it should. So just be aware of that. But that's pretty much the steering rack installed on there, guys. One thing that we did add, they got these droop screw holes. I added 2 to the back, very conservative, and Arrma went to a 3mm screw hole, so it's not the standard 4mm like on their 6S trucks. So we just basically used a button head screw, and we're screwing it down a good amount, actually almost all the way. You can see there's almost, it barely rises up, just to help a little bit. Just kind of playing and experimenting with that, but got the gasket on here, and we're about to screw this puppy on, and we're heading home stretch now. All right, we got these 6 screws in there. Now make sure with these last 2 to Loctite those with glue, and do those by hand, not like I did with that one screw on the other side. If you have someone great like Mr. Mitch Looper here, what's going on, Mitch?
Hi guys.
And Mitch has helped me out today, obviously put this together. So thank you so much for Mitch helping me out, because you know, I definitely could use a 3rd and or a 4th hand during this process. So our idea was to kind of start at the ends and bring it together and pull the electronics at the end with the center diff. So have someone hold that for you, and you know, you can do it with one person with the electronics, but it does get pretty tough, but we're gonna wrestle together. Yeah. All right, so we put the reverse in first. So we kept this all loose, lined up the first one, slid it in, then put in the front dog bone, and make sure you know where your dog bones are lined up, what your slots are, so when you're not fighting with it. And then what we did is we tilted up the chassis and just put 1 screw right on the end here. So now we can handle it because it's all kind of locked in and the dog bones aren't going to be falling out. All right, so we got this flip back over. Now we got this 1 screw in. Then when that gave us the ability to flip it on over. And make sure, big tip here, guys, obviously, make sure you put these gaskets in first. Make sure don't forget those before you flip it. And we actually forgot it the first time. I had to flip it back over. And we found that actually when you have it turned the other way, these 2 chassis screws that go into the center module are actually easier to get in first, and then do your center mount screw, your engine mount screws. Start with the center one, and what we did is we got those all Loctited down. I started the middle one and then worked my way out. Now most of the screws are in the bottom. A couple more pieces we need to put in. Now obviously we got blue Loctite on these 3 right here, and blue Loctite if you're using the hinge pin kit on these 2. And these 2, if you're using stock, you just stick with your non-Loctite because it's going into plastic, okay? All right, guys, got the engine mount all the way in there. Now, we use the stock engine mount on this one. Keep in mind there's 2 others that Mitch offers through the website depending upon the KV of your motor, size of your can, and all that kind of stuff. Now, whether you're using this ESC plate on a Kraton or an Outcast, all going to be the same. Now, these are pre-drilled out holes. So what you'll do is you'll match this up, go into the outside of the vehicle, slides right on top of these screw mount holes. If you're using a Max 6, it's gonna mount up like that. Max 5 will use these inner holes. So it has both sets of holes on there. Comes with all the hardware. Pretty straightforward, guys. You guys can figure this out. All right, so we're in the home stretch here for the install for the M2C chassis for the Arrma Outcast 8S here. All right, so we're Loctiting these bolts here. So what I want to go over is what you Loctite and what you don't. So Loctiting on the chassis, you're gonna have these 3 screws and these 3 screws here. These are the supports that are on the other side, so make sure you Loctite those. Now these 3 and these 3 are locking bolts. You do not Loctite these, so don't Loctite those. And then also you're gonna Loctite these 2 right here. Those go right into the center supports. These are these tiny little screws right here. So we're gonna Loctite these right now.
You see that? Oh, you're a big guy.
So there we go, guys. That is the M2C chassis fully installed. Now we did put some droop screws in the back. When I get home tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna put some droop screws in the front. That's just a fully M2C-ified truck there, if I do say so myself. So appreciate the time out here with Mitch Looper out here at M2C Racing. We're gonna go ahead and get these battery trays in here. You guys know how to do that kind of stuff. I don't need to show that to you. We're gonna put the battery trays in there. We're gonna finish tightening up some screws, but we're pretty much done with this install. Like, comment, subscribe to over at 3 Sons RC over on YouTube. Appreciate y'all, and appreciate Mitch just putting out awesome killer stuff. We're just gonna finish up a couple little things on this chassis, tighten up some screws here. But thank you so much for the time. 3 Sons RC, peace out. All right, we're throwing on the rear bumper and the front bumper.
It is a bad to get that damn bumper on there. Because I messed up, so I'm just showing him that I grabbed the wrong screw.
Bam!
Bam!
So the hinge pin kits have been fully installed here from M2C. The A block is hidden up in there. We got the B block right there, C block and D block fully installed. These things are just beastly piece of kit here from M2C Racing. All right, so we just finished installing this M2C Racing Arrma Servo Saver axle that pops right in there. Just loosen up the screws and slide up the ESC and slide that puppy in there with the... There we go, cut it in there. And then it slides down.
Yep.
Bam. All right. With the bearing, nice little piece, nice little kit, and that's just gonna add just a little bit more toughness to that front end, that steering, just tighten everything up. It is nice to have the famous hands of Mitch Looper. So appreciate his help here today over at M2C. Just what a nice kit here from M2C Racing. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe over 3 Sons RC. Check us out. We got a lot of bashing videos, install videos, all sorts of stuff with the boys. We go bash and have a good time. So appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.